Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the Political Command Center in London. Thank you very much, viewers across the continent of Africa. This is Dr. David Matsanga. Today in our show, the editor's memo, I'll look at the peace process of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and later on I'll have a few queries and questions from my panel. But first, I'll begin with a takeaway. A takeaway to the basis that answering the question, are the actors of the peace process sincere? I just want to do that in a few seconds. But before I do that, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the President of the Republic of Kenya, the President of Burundi, the former President of the Republic of Kenya, and all East African heads of state who have agreed to hold this summit for the betterment of our continent of Africa. Before I go further, also I want to thank the East African Community Secretariat that is spearheading the mediation in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Ladies and gentlemen, lots of things have happened in the region of late, and therefore we need to update ourselves since Friday, what has taken place, what has happened, what has helped Africa, and what can help Africa as of now. The situation, therefore, in DRC Congo, in the eastern part of Congo, remains fragile. Later on in our Twitter space in the evening at 9:15, we shall look at what are the root causes. What are the root causes of the war in the Democratic Republic of Congo? Most of you, when we talk about the root causes, everybody jumps on the question of minerals. But there might be deeper root causes that we might find out tonight at 9:15. And I hope you'll join in later on in thousands, in hundreds, and we discuss, chart the way forward. Our discussions on this platform are purely to supplement, to open up the views, to open up the enclaves that are closed. We are not here competing with anybody, but we are discussing from the subject, the main subject of peace process. A redemption strategy is needed for Congo. There is no shortcut here. The people fighting themselves are not aliens, are not from planet Earth. They are Congolese themselves. Therefore, they need a way forward. They need one way or the other. 132 rebel groups standing on a territory which is 3 times bigger than Europe. It is something that should worry anybody and anyone who is doing politics of Africa or who has studied political science in Africa and the regional integration. If it is to come at all, how shall we get all these 133 rebel forces out of one country? We should also go further to say, what can be done about DRC Congo? That is what I want to do after my takeaway. Ladies and gentlemen, as I prepare for this takeaway, I want to bring to your attention that if you want to follow us, you can follow us on our platform, on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. That is showing all the signs that it is present and that it is working. We would like you to enjoy our comments. Leave a comment for us and leave a comment for everybody. Tomorrow we shall be able to be on record as history makes its way towards the rest of the world. I am very, very enlightened on the matters of conflict resolution, and therefore I will speak as a person who has seen and who has ever sat down and resolved a conflict. That this conflict of DRC Congo needs very serious intervention, supported by various actors. We need markets in DRC Congo. We need supply of food to those people. We need to sell our goods both ways. If there is a war, you can't sell the goods. And that is why I am here to speak about Democratic Republic of Congo, to compliment on what the process, the mediators are doing in Africa and in DRC Congo. I take away. For every conflict to be resolved, there is need for all participants, actors, to be sincere. One thing that has come out to our minds or passed through our brains after looking through all the statements that have come out of the conflict of Congo, right back from all the agreements that were signed, is sincerity and dishonesty. Many of the actors seem to be insincere in declaring and adhering to the principles of dialogue that has been set on table. Many of the actors seem to be telling and talking from two tongues and two mouths, a double speak that has caused the delay and that will cause much, much harm to the peace process of Democratic Republic of Congo. The Rwanda agreement communique was very clear, seeking that those rebels in place in Rwanda, in Congo, or anywhere in places where they were occupying should leave and return to one designated position. This was not the case. It turned out to be that over the weekend, more territories were occupied, more fighting continued, and the ceasefire seemed not to have been adhered to. Today, as people sit in the capital city of Kenya, in Nairobi, today, as the presidents of East African Community try, and the East African Community Secretariat, the mediators, try to sift through the plethora of information, what comes out is very clear. That from Sun City, when we did the Congo agreement, there has never been sincerity. Sun City, Lusaka agreement, Entebbe agreement, Rwanda agreement, and now Nairobi communique will come after this. Our hope is that at one point, all the participants, all the actors, all the suppliers, all those who support these rebel activities in Congo will one day come out clearly and say, I am, or we are, and we are ready to talk, and talk for the betterment of this nation called Congo. I've attended most of these conferences in Lusaka, in Sun City. I've not attended the one of Kampala, but I have got friends and I have got information and the records. I've received the minutes on first hand. There has been the word of insincerity. There is something that is not sincere, that has not been brought out sincerely to the mediators. The shadowy operators, the rogue commercial entrepreneurs, the ethnic balkanization, the lack of clarity The lack of confidence in a peace process weaken the entire negotiating and the peace process and the peace talks. Is it time now for the people of East Africa, all of them, irrespective of the country you come from, to wake up, rise up, and call upon actors in this conflict to be sincere? When we are sincere, we shall arrive at a destination. When we are not sincere, we shall not arrive at any conclusion that will be meaningful to the people of East Africa. The entire region of East Africa is potential for serious development, potential for trade, potential for social tourism, potential for education, potential for infrastructure. But what kills it are wars and the insincerity of the leaderships that all of them take part in this conflict. The Congo conflict, therefore, should have been resolved long time ago. But because of the double standards that are used, because of the hop, step, and jump and retreat, that strategy that we see, what does Congo then want? What do the Congolese want? Yugoslavia was one of the examples that gave Europe a headache. When Field Marshal Field Marshal Tito died, when Field Marshal Tito died in Yugoslavia, Yugoslavia went back to the drawing board. It created several states that have stabilized. Today, you can see them playing football. Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia, and the other states that came up, Macedonia, Albania. These are the states that came out of the great Yugoslavia, which was a balkanized state that created chaos, that brought about even more chaos after the Second World War. Is it time for Africa to think beyond? How long will this one state for 63 years, coming to 63 years now, one state has always been the boiling pot of Africa? The editor's memo therefore says, time has come for the boiling pot to have the cooling water. When can we have the cooling water? The cooling water can only come when this state, when these states, when these actors, when these fighters can be sincere. When they come to table, when they come to dialogue, let them say everything that hurts them. Don't hide some of the things. Don't hide your funders. Don't fight the suppliers. There are people, of course, who supply these people and benefit from the supply and the misery of the plight of the refugees that are zooming out of Democratic Republic of Congo in bad conditions, in very terrible humanitarian conditions that need adequate attention. Is there a way we can resolve this conflict by being sincere? Is there sincerity in all this peace process? Or we only show cosmetic support, but in actual sense, we are the same that break the same plate. We are the same that make the boiling pot not workable. It is up to the members and to the people of Democratic Republic of Congo and East Africa to find a solution. And that solution can only come when people are sincere. I rest my case. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. I'm Dr. David Masanga from Punchline Africa Television. These views are mine and only mine, and they express the feelings of a person of a conflict resolution nature a person who has studied the Great Lakes region at length. Thank you. Back to you, Miriam. That is our takeaway. I hope there are a few things you have picked out of that, and I wonder, it is self-explanatory. We have 7 minutes. Perhaps there's something that I left out, which you can talk about, which can make us. I have seen all this from Sun City, Lusaka. Every agreement is hammered. The more we hammer more peace talk agreements, the more we remain in the same place. So how long will that go on? Over to you, Miriam.
All right, thank you. So talks aimed at bringing peace to Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo are set to begin today in Kenya's capital in Nairobi. Leaders from the regional bloc, the East African Community, will try to broker the third round of talks aimed at accelerating ongoing regional efforts to attain sustainable peace. The meeting comes days after regional leaders agreed on a ceasefire following talks in Angola. There is the latest attempt to find a lasting solution to the conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, home to dozens of armed militia groups, including the M23. The Congolese army will resume talks with the armed groups under a process mediated by Kenya's former President Uhuru Kenyatta. The M23 group has been fighting the military and will not be part of the Nairobi talks. The Congolese government has refused to engage the M23 until they stop the offensive and vacate areas they have seized in recent months. Kenya and Burundi have deployed troops to eastern DRC and a regional force seeking to help the military quell violence in the mineral-rich area. Wanda Wesonga, good morning.
Good morning to you, Miriam.
Yeah, your thoughts, and I'm sure you're listening to what Doc has said, and of course the latest from there.
I completely agree with Dr. Masanga's views on what is happening in Congo, and in the struggle to find a lasting solution. That you cannot find a lasting solution when you're not sincere. That you're getting into a discussion, you're getting into a round table to have a negotiation. But as you're getting into that round table to have a negotiation, you don't trust the other person. You yourself you're having some few things that you're holding on them. You don't want to put them on the table. And therefore, it is more of a going round and round, that it's not until all parties involved in this are very sincere and they are ready to bring to the end the conflict that that you are experiencing in Congo, that is probably now heading into the 63 years of fighting. Therefore, as Dr. Masanga puts it, it is more of lack of honesty that is bringing, that has for so many years led to this conflict, and it's still seeing that the Congo crisis is still going on. That it is until when all parties involved will be sincere, that's when peace will be realized. That as even Kenya gets into this, believe me, no, the parties involved in this a number of them are not already happy with Kenyans being involved in it. You already have those who feels like Kenyans are getting in with a hidden agenda, and therefore we cannot trust them. So it is a long way to go, but it can only be shortened if every person looks at it like an African conflict, then develop an interest of seeing peace in Africa finally, then decides to open up, believe in each other, trust each other, put the cause of the conflict on the table, then that's the only way they will be aired out. Back to you, Miriam.
All right, and speaking of Kenya, the third batch of the Kenyan troops has been dispatched to the DRC Congo from the Embakasi garrison in Nairobi. So this will be our first round of soldiers going into. So some of the conditions that perhaps the Democratic Republic of Congo's government has put forth before they are able to, they even agreed to have dialogue with M23, is they said they must first stop the offensive and they must vacate the areas that they have illegally seized in the recent months. I mean, these conditions, they're not, are they too far-fetched, really? Wonder.
This condition, I mean, these are two conflicting groups. We're having the M23 not okay, or they're not in good terms with the Congolese government and probably some other rebel groups. And if this is a party getting into, I mean, the party that is already in conflict with you, then you cannot be the only party giving conditions to the other party who is in a conflict with you. And therefore, that is the other bit of insincerity, that you cannot be getting into, I mean, you are at that, I mean, at this point, they're at 50-50. The M23 is at 50, the Congolese government is at 50. And if the Congolese government will want to get on the table at 70 or 80%, then imagine that the M23 will only, I mean, is only at 20 or should only be given the 30%. Then that's, I mean, the M23 will not be ready to sit on the table and have a sincere discussion. And it's probably the reason why the M23 are now giving their own conditions. Because when the Congo, I mean, it is more of M23 versus Congo. That is President Felix. Therefore, I feel like President Felix is not sincere, and him not being sincere is pushing M23 not to be sincere. And M23 and probably those that are supporting M23 are now looking at any other group that is getting involved in this as not sincere. And so soon, probably the Kenyan troops are also not sincere in this. Like when they're getting in, are they getting in support of Shekedi and the group? Or are they getting in as sincere troops just on standby so that we have the negotiation going on? Therefore, the conditions are not, I mean, it's not okay. If the conditions are there, then let both the two groups provide the conditions. But the conditions should have been coming from the chief mediators. Like we demand that you people come on the table, but for us to start, for us to get into the negotiation, M23, make sure you do this. The Congolese government, make sure you do this. Then when they get now on the table, the two groups will now be able to share their miseries. Like we are pointing a finger at you because you've been doing A, B, C, and D. Then let the Congolese government also do the same. But if the Congolese government are the one issuing conditions and nobody is ready to listen to M23, then it's all futile.
But a meeting of African leaders, maybe over a week ago, I think agreed to some of these resolutions. And I think you've brought in the issue of KDF. Our President William Ruto, was met President Tshisekedi just a week ago. And if we could just perhaps follow his line of thought, maybe that might help us understand the mission that KDF has in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And he said, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, he said, we are going to force peace there in the DRC, and we are not going to come there with kids' gloves. It's either they, just paraphrasing what he said, but it's about time. We are not going to employ soft powers anymore, so we're just going to go hard. And from there, we had even what some leaders said over this matter. So the mandate of the East African force is actually to fight, from what we've been reading and from what has been said, is actually to employ a hard power against the M23. It's either they surrender and they are there to this to the ceasefire agreement, or they'll be fought. Like that is the condition that has been put forth, and that was the undertone I had from Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta. Maybe that's why now the M23 are saying no, we don't want to be part of any of those mediation. We want now to speak directly to the DRC's government, because now they feel like Kenya has already taken a position in this matter. So, Doc, you can conclude the show for us.
Miriam, let me get this very clear. I don't want to bring in Kenya as a center point. I want to bring it from, you are right. There are quite a lot of things that are taking place. Why M23 is finally saying, we are not going to be part and parcel of this, because they don't know, they are not on table in Rwanda. They didn't have an observer mission. We must structure the dialogue. The dialogue must be structured. If you don't structure the dialogue, the only other alternative left, let's go and fight these guys, boot to boot, arm to arm, what a person would tell Omundo Homondo. Because that is all what we can have. Because there is not much of this talking. If we are going to talk, the group is seizing, is seizing land, capitals, small towns, and the people are under threat. Some of them are being killed. The continuation of, if they are not on table, then when will they be on table? Those are the questions that any person, any mediator should ask. Will they come to table tomorrow? Are they demanding direct talks with the mediator? When will the timetable be convenient for the mediator? What is the security of the mediator? I went there with Mr. Obasanjo to meet Roret Kunda long time ago in 2008. I know how that place looks like. It was in Ngoma, and then a few places we drove a few kilometers and we met Kunda. People are not, you know, you have got to look at all this, the sincerity. That is why I am saying, and that's why I brought this subject today, that are people sincere in the region? Do they really want this process to be over? Is the population very sincere? If you talk to people behind quietly in the mama areas, some of them are telling you, but you know, these guys are being discriminated in Congo. They are being discriminated. The Congolese are telling them they are Banyarwanda, they have to go. I was talking to very senior people this morning on this matter, and somebody was telling me, David, you are in London, but the situation down here on the ground. So ask this person, what do you really want? Because this talks lack clarity. The whole thing lacks clarity. Which direction? The rebel groups, okay, if we solve the rebels who are seated here, what about another 100 of them? How many groups do we have on table? Those are the questions. I think you can see even our panel is quiet. All of us are quiet. How many groups do we have? We are talking about 23 groups that we are talking to. The groups that are assembled in Nairobi, Miriam, when the conference starts, I think you'll switch your gadgets to to any of these and find out how many of these groups are represented. How many have sent observers? How many have sent their negotiators? So that we know, because the total number of...
Apologize for that. We've experienced a bit of a technical hitch from Dr. Matsanga's side. Doc, we lost you there for a few seconds, but I see you're back. Go ahead.
Yeah, the total number. Are you getting me now?
Yes.
The total number of rebel groups in DRC Congo are 132. As Africans, we should be worried. How many of these groups have we managed to bring on table enemies? 10, 20. Now, the main sharp group that seems to be capturing territory, surely, it must be having a massive following and a logistical support. Where is this support coming from? Logistically, that's the whole weekend they have been capturing cities and isolating Goma. Time is going to come when there will be strangulation of Ngoma city. I think that is in fighting. That is, Miriam, that's what they are doing. They are cutting off all the main supply routes into the city. So the city will lack food, the city will lack water, the city will lack even people coming in. Cities are not buildings. Cities are people coming in to take their usual activities. So we are going into the fighting that used to be your Srebrenica, where the Serbs cut off the Bosnians, and then the strangulation of Srebrenica, which was very, very dangerous, and they killed so many people inside there. These are tactics used by guerrilla groups. So for me, that is what I can say. Thank you very much. It's the top of our 8 minutes past 12 o'clock. Let's take a break and bring in our topic of the day, the global trends. In these global trends, we want to just point out, is Africa marginalized in all human facets? Are we marginalized? Football, we have how many teams? United Nations Security Council, we have none. Tax, we don't pay the same tax like other people. Let's go. Conflict in DRC Congo. Ukraine conflict started just 1 year ago, but it has got billions and billions of dollars in funding that can even buy the best weapons. Ours, we have got one Somalia conflict that has taken since 1991 almost 33 years in existence. Are we marginalized internationally? Let's look at the aspects of marginalization by Africa on Matanga Global Trends. Next, bring in, take a breather as we arrange our paperwork. Somebody can bring in a clip from our previous, the Africa School of Thought. Thank you.